Danny, thank you very much for attending the Gym Owners Workshop 2024. First off, I guess, how have you found it so far?
Great, yeah. Everyone's been really welcoming, first of all, but also the people that I've got to meet here, some of the people listening to the talk, coming up after asking some questions, really interesting stuff and hearing their experiences. Also, the setup has been great, and so, yeah, a great event so far.
Just to kind of give a bit of context to everyone that's going to be watching, what is Sigma Nutrition? I guess give a very quick kind of breakdown of what you spoke about as well.
Sure. In short, Sigma Nutrition is a company that creates educational content around nutrition science primarily, so aimed at practitioners, whether that's dietitians, GPs, health and fitness professionals, talking about the science of nutrition and what we see in the research. My talk today was around messaging within the fitness industry with a focus on a few core issues. I would think potential harms of weight loss interventions, issues around weight stigma more broadly in the industry, and then third, what this might mean for body image concerns and how we market and put out messages within the fitness industry, and things for coaches to be aware of.
To be honest, it was a very interesting talk, and I guess before I sort of asked my questions that I had, it'd be good to, I guess, get a couple of the ideas that people were asking you after your talk.
So some of those relate to one of the key dilemmas that I wanted to talk about at the start of the talk, which is that there are many coaches that want to help people, want to do things ethically, have heard about potential harms of messages we put out or promoting weight loss all the time, and want to try and avoid some of the real negative stuff, but at the same time also want to make a living and have a productive business, and knowing that most people are going to come to a gym or look for a personal trainer oftentimes with the goal of changing their body composition. So that's this kind of real dilemma, and so much of the questions relate to, well, how do I go about this, or what might this mean for my business, is it going to suffer, and so on. And there's some really interesting questions within that, but mainly it's about how do we work with someone who maybe has been told that they need to follow a certain type of plan, or is coming looking for a diet plan or a 6-week transformation, but we want to promote something more long term that's really going to help them in a health sense. How do we bridge that gap? That's supposed to be the theme of most of those questions.
Yeah, okay, and I guess that kind of leads on nicely to my questions as well. Obviously, something that I kind of visit a lot of gym owners sort of as part of my day-to-day job, and I think a lot of the stuff that I often see with them is well, a lot of stuff I preach, actually, I guess, if you want to put it like that, is like community and how important community is within the gym. And I guess nutrition and kind of the prerogative that gyms are kind of pushing, because I know that people kind of say, like, you know, if you're not big, you're not it, I guess, is right. The thing. So how would you say that kind of nutrition and kind of the prerogative that the gym's pushing on people, how does that affect the community within the gym, and how can you kind of help to change that as well?
And this is such a fundamental part, because most people accept that a huge part of their gym culture, or the benefit, is going to be the community aspect to it, and a lot of people are trying to build that. And even broadly in the fitness industry, there's a community aspect. When someone feels they are part of the fitness industry versus outside of it, that is what people want. It's why people get interested in it. When people start going into the fitness industry, it's why people are going to elevate towards certain types of clothing, certain types of brands that are important. Like, there's all this part that is part of our identity and community when we're in that. And I suppose part of some of the barrier for other people then is, if we are holding up certain images or certain aesthetics or certain lifestyles that this is what fitness is and anything else therefore isn't, then we're giving the people that unless you can attain this certain physique, or unless you train with the intensity or frequency I do, or unless you have these certain behaviors, then what you're doing isn't really fitness. And so I think that's part of a barrier, because it's less inclusive, but also from a gym owner perspective, it's shutting you off to a huge bunch of people who could be part of your community, but maybe are fearing that because they think they don't fit that certain mold. So it's about thinking about what culture we want to create and what we actually mean by being part of this community, broadly within fitness, but secondarily within my particular gym or facility or online coaching service. What does it mean to be part of this community? Who does that include? And sometimes without us realizing, we're alienating some people, because all the things we talk about and all the things we promote and all the images we post are one particular thing that is separate from what this person feels they can identify with.
It plays into the kind of psychological, like, positive reinforcement. Like, people are much more likely to do something and follow something if they're like positively reinforced to do it as opposed to negatively. And it's I don't go to the gym because I like hate myself. I go to the gym because I like the feeling that I get after going there. So what would you say, I guess, are some of the practical things that gym can actually start to do? So let's say I'm a gym that I have this kind of, you know, get big or go home thing going on in my gym, and I want to change that, and I want to kind of become more kind of community focused and start pushing positive reinforcement onto people. What are some of the sort of practical things that I can do to actually achieve that within my gym?
Sure. There's probably two levels to this. One is the most foundational piece that probably a lot of gyms are already doing, is asking this question of, well, what is the actual culture we want, first of all, in an ideal setting? What values do we aspire to that we want to promote in people, and therefore what type of community we want to build? Once someone has the idea and then says, okay, well, I want this type of, or at least I say that I want this type of culture and community and so on, and these types of people in my gym, how can we have messages that are going to not only speak to them but not actively push them away? And this is not even done on an intentional basis, but if we're saying we want to have appeal to a large number of people who can positively improve their life and get healthier and don't have to go all in on everything, but every post we have on social media or every image in our gym is literally just of the people with the most extreme aesthetic, that everything is of the elite level bodybuilders, for example, and all our posts are about our physique and how dedicated we are and so on, that's okay if that's the demographic you want to speak to. If you are claiming you want to have a broader one that is getting more people involved in your community, that's probably not going to be resonating, first of all. And second is also giving them an idea of two things. Goals that are not attainable, because you're saying, okay, do you want to look, the underlying message of a post of someone's physique is like, if you want to look more like this, I can help you. Right? This is your problem, you don't look like this, I can help you. That is probably not going to be attainable for the vast majority of people for a variety of reasons. And second is probably not the thing we necessarily want to be promoting in that particular case. Now, if someone has a facility that is only for bodybuilders who want to compete actively, you're going to have a different type of messaging, and actually all those other things are actually going to resonate more.
Yeah.
So the first thing is getting clear on what is the community, what is the culture, and then what types of messages in posts. And then it's about taking stock of what do I currently do. So you can go through your marketing material, you can go through the messages on the wall in your gym, you can go through your feed and say, do these things actually resonate with the values that I have and the gym culture I want to create? Or without realizing it, is there a kind of a disconnect here? And that evaluation probably is the first step, I would say.
Okay, perfect. And yeah, I mean, keep it short and sweet. I think just finally, is there any sort of key takeaways that you'd sort of suggest to gym owners, maybe kind of start that evaluation process?
So I would say first is taking stock of what are we currently doing? Why are we saying certain things or having certain messages, or what is our ad copy look like, or our website? What are the messages we're putting out, and why is the reason for that? Is it simply because, well, that's the way I was told to do it, and that's the way everyone does it? That may mean that it's not actually fitting with what you actually want to create for your gym culture. So first, taking stock of why am I doing this, and then second, looking at maybe challenging some beliefs that we've already had, i.e. that traditionally for a long time in the fitness industry, the belief is that in order to get more clients and more people into the gym, I need to sell them on the problem they have, is see if that fits, and then from there start thinking about, as I put out messages, is this reinforcing the values that I want for my gym, the culture, and more broadly, is it having a positive influence without necessarily alienating people?
In that case, Danny, thank you very much for your time. Really enjoyed to talk today, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Oh, pleasure. Thanks so much.
Cheers very much. Thank you.